Oh, so this is the month of April, and I'm thinking I have been doing a little bit of an update on what's happening behind the scenes. And um, so January was an interesting month where I had to kind of round up on further details about how this year is developing. February was more about rounding up on learn to have anti-inflammatory presence using nothing in 6 months. Yeah. And then March has been about healthy natural breathing, a little more relook, and then a little more stepping up into details. And so it's been a March with very interesting features. And April has started with more emphasis on the winner versus drama triad. Yeah. And to gently bring an S link between the two. Um, so this podcast, okay, yeah, um, podcast wherein pod means point of discovery. It's the video point of discovery cast is following the previous video which I've made. And that is to invite you into the dynamics between spoken and silence. Yeah. So if you notice, my words are not as regular or fast-paced. Part of it is deliberate because I'm aware that I'm speaking this following the previous one, but also because my work um, brings a fine balance between the spoken and the unspoken. So my work comes largely from the realm of the unknown. Johari window, I know that I know, I know that I don't know, I don't know that I know, I don't know that I don't know. So it's from the don't know realm more. And consequently, our ideas of yoga, our ideas of how to live, um, have all been encapsulated under the kind of phrase original humane intelligence facilitation in a world functioning by artificial intelligence. To further bring context to what I'm saying, consider that my work is from the realm of singularity, whereas we have theory, science, math, different ways of calculating economy in terms of plurality, or people's idea of what is Sanatana Dharma, or ecological economics, where we've also had, say, from warring tribes to now we have United Nations to now we have WHO's global list of diseases. So different stages of making things better. I'll put a link to a video that I've made, kind of chronicling several aspects of human development. And then I keep seeing problems. And then what I saw needs to be done. And slowly to work through those fine details, which is not already there, because of which we continue to have some problems. Somehow it's not as it was earlier in previous warring tribe times. And over time, we have then faced pandemics, and our bodily composition, our daily interactions have been affected by them. So now, instead of fighting each other, we are now dealing with different affects from, say, parasites, yeah, or microorganisms. So I'm thinking life on Earth has found a way to civilize us, yeah, because it's taken a long time to form the human body, yeah, human being composition, where we are more civil, and microbes have been doing quite an interesting job about it. Because, like God, yeah, we can't see the microbes. So God has found a little um, They call it the Vajrakita. Yeah. Mythology has reference to the Vajrakita, which form the Saligram. In Saligram, I say Saligram also has an S. Yeah. So there are different pronunciations about it. But incidentally, this is what suits more my Meristem intelligences. I also call it Celtic. So S and C has a similar sound, different contexts. Now, having said that, my speaking cadence is sometimes there are words and then there is silence and then there's again speech. So I'm speaking from the realm of the unknown. I'm voicing for the voiceless. From the realm of the unknown, we are talking about neurotypicals and neurodivergence and several names. As we have the spectrum of ways of thinking. And I'm talking in terms of singularity. And singularity, as I found from different texts, different references, has not been understood or we haven't been able to get our head around it. There's the idea of the Advaita, Dvaita, Vishishta Advaita, but we have very interesting ideas about it because if we really got it, then our textbooks, our ways of interaction would speak it. Our ideas of yoga would maybe already be in some terms of what I'm calling as original humane intelligence. So in that sense, I think what we've been having thus far, our economy, our different activities, how we've been living, has been life or something like it. It's been more something like life. There's a movie, Life or Something Like It. Yeah. So it would be nice if you watch that movie because then there is so many hours, but detailed reference to what I'm calling as life or something like it. The hard problem of consciousness also refers to, so there is subjective experiences, which they're able to track, brainwave, etc. The body composition, if this, then that, reliably happens. And there are phenomenon, for example, that's happening, or there are affects that's being seen. One person can see, the other can't. Or subjective experiences, but apparently it is not calculable. Science is having a hard time getting a grasp on what's happening. Yeah. And in a way that the whole thing comes together. There are a lot of theories, and it's like there are some things left out. And then we have difference in opinion. And then they say science knows, science doesn't know, or religion knows. So all of these differences in opinions. So we kind of have a little bit of a mosaic of information, or life or something like it. A little bit. Kind of. Because, well, we have such a big universe. Yeah. Lots of planets, stars, galaxies. And we have mythological stories, and we have humanity across boundaries, all of us in the same planet. And we have a slight difficulty in coming to a unified kind of understanding of what life is, how to be lived in such a way that we're not seeking liberation, which means some things are figured out. We have life or something like it. Because one person's perspective is not one man's food is another man's poison. One person's perspective, another person's perspective, we're not quite seeing eye to eye. And still we are coexisting on the planet the way we are, or to the best of what we can. And we have civil societies. Consider that now is the time for life. Yeah, because I've been studying about life and humans and human beings. And so humans like machines, yeah, robots, mechanical. There's this set of tasks. You do that through the day and then you sleep. Yeah, you wake up. So there could be some improvements there. Like mechanical life. And then the being is more cognizant, not has operating their free will in a way that slightly changes the pattern as has been. And different people do that, which is why they wake up every morning. Yeah. So there is that happening. But the degree to which a person is making that change or the choice from free will, that varies person to person. So to that extent, there are humans and there are human beings. Slight variation in the meaning of it. I'm for want of better words. And then I'm saying the next stage of human evolution is a humane being, where humane is more aware, have original thinking, not just a copy paste of how things have been, can make choices in such a way that how things are can be made better by how you do things, how you interact with things. And that requires our relationship with what there is, the things we have, the relationships we have, the theories that we have of what life is and how life is lived and how it should be lived and why we are here. They all need a little bit of relook and lived in such a way, stories constructed, seen in such a way that they're not clashing. Yoga calls them as yoga textbook, yogis, yeah, the language of yoga. Because I'm calling my work as mais, so yeah, like Assamese. So call it as klesha or conflicts, internal conflicts between what is good, bad, right, wrong, yeah. What is seen as reality and what you would like it to be, between dreams and how things are and where you're headed, and that internal conflicts, kleshas, yeah, kind of. And that may be keeping some people, it's like a vehicle or a watch, yeah. When the wheels, the engines, for example, is greased, may not function as well as you'd like it to. When the oil is changed, degreased, all that, more serviced, then there is more smoother. Now, this is a human body. Yeah, the oils, the things that moves this engine is different. Yeah, for example, at least 60% of our body is water. And the water getting a little, and the water is in, it's said to be like the fourth state of water, where it is not vapor, it is not water, it's not ice, but it's in a form of a gel-like form. Because if we say get hurt, blood comes out, water doesn't come out. But whereas 60% of our body is water. So that kind of an idea. Whereas our cells, tissues, organ system, they all have protoplasm, just kind of water-based compositions. So and other mixture. Like if you say when you're cooking, you're making a broth, vegetable broth, for example. Yeah. A lot of vegetables, you cook it, the substance of the vegetables goes into the water, and the composition of water is different. Similarly, our body is like a little bit of soup, but it's more like a gelatinous kind of. Blood is moving, so there is moving liquid, and there's also not so much moving liquid. Yeah. Now, why am I saying this? For us to maintain being us, in the sense, not like the idea of, say, the Kumbh Mela, lot of humans, and not getting lost in, you're all humans. We say we, and the I not getting lost in the we. That takes a fine discernment between who is me, who is other than me, and also in terms of time. So I'm born at a particular date time. Somebody else is born at their own date, birthday time. So there is future generations too. Yeah. So there are little ones, different age groups. So there are several perspectives here, which we say, yeah, it's like, oh, the color of the wall is that. We have been living in this room, and that's the color of the wall. And so there's this furniture. So we're like, yeah, given that, we have different people, different age groups, gender, and all of that, to seeing things more in terms of time, in terms of there are these finer details, and it's not just another information. It is not like, oh, a human body is made up of, arms and legs, and given that, and that becomes uh, something that goes in the background and it's not alive, actively present for you in the moment. While, say, there is discomfort, there's a problem, you may not be going back to, oh, this is the given condition of being human, that we are amongst several kinds, and then a problem or a concern may be coming from the basics of it, which we may be, yeah, given that, and not quite thinking actively about it. So things like this go into the subconscious, unconscious, supraconscious states of awareness. And consequently, we sometimes live life like this is how life is. Yeah, like as though you have no choice because you don't know the programming of your body, of your life. And consequently, we cannot be original. And in some ways, we kind of become artificial. Yeah. This has been thought about, and it's kind of like a part of a vehicle. Like this wheel is like this. There is no thought about maybe this wheel can be redesigned so that there is better functionality. There is that thought is not actively present. That option is not there in the paradigms of thinking. And this wheel functioning in such a way that we maintain being human, not become something else. While we have, for example, the pandemic, virus, before that we had the bubonic plague, yeah, plague. And they have affected our own body. So there is bacteria, fungi, algae, archaea, different kinds. And they all have their effect on our human body. And our behavior, we may not have considered points of reference by which to maintain what does being human mean versus are we behaving like an animal, microorganism, plant? So what are those thought lines? What's those points of reference, frame of reference, by which you recognize, okay, now you're being human, behaving like a human versus other than that. And then to recalibrate back such that you're functioning as a human and then functioning as you, not as somebody else. Yeah. And then becoming a better you. Okay. So that's there too. So these are chronologies, ways of thinking, but basics need to be remembered and living our life. Otherwise, we're living somebody else's life. They told me, and hence I did this, and so my life is like this. Oh, poor me. Yeah. And there's this book called Games People Play by Eric Byrne. So there's a set of these different oh, poor me. Yeah. Now I got you. Yeah. And behavioral dynamics. But we tend to sometimes live our life from some of these ways of behavior. Yeah. Not knowing that these are certain patterns that we've had. And given that there are some basic patterns we have, there could be other than that too. So to that extent, we may not be having free will. That book was written with the intention of recognizing there are some patterns of behavior and that we have the choice of other than that, from knowing that there are these, like a Turing machine or this toy that keep doing this, yeah. To once you're aware of something that then you know that you're again that toy, to becoming other than that, yeah. That's like artificial intelligence and original. You become like a default pattern, yeah. Cookied, I call it. Your behavior or something you become into. You've been climbing, and then you come into a landing, and then you become like that. And then you could say your whole life you live like that? No. Or you can, I tend to call it as reinventing my life, reinventing the wheel. I reinvent myself every so many times. That's when I get an opportunity to not be, yeah, to become another version, another version of me, because every new stage of life requires you to be a better you. So I hope this gives you a little thought lines along what is different about my work, and about what values I'm bringing forth for consideration, and what makes movementless yoga different from how we have been seeing yoga or health maintenance or life maintenance practices. And so there are 4 values. One is on-table healing work. Let's just say healing. And there is yoga. You can heal, but healing, after healing, you also need to integrate what has been healed. Yeah, that's an important part of the completing the healing process. Let's heal. I call it breathe, but it's more like yoga. Yeah, you kind of integrate the matter. So breathe, yoga. And then there is course correction counseling. You can integrate. You need to have a direction in which you're going. Which are you going ahead? Are you going back? Which direction are you going? It's like you need to have that compass by which to gauge your movement. That course correction counseling, but course correction. There are several thought lines along that. And then there is connect dot. Connect dot. It's more like, you have this crossword puzzle, you have dots, and then you connect it. And then there's an elephant or a house, or that way. So I've spoken in this video about, say, yoga, words. I've spoken about paradigms of thinking, things we have taken for granted, or not seen our own relationship with life as lived, or problems, and how we interact with them. So I did a bit of connect dot. Yeah. So some understanding of that bit. So that's important too, that connecting the dot, and then you need to dot the dashes. Yeah. So there are connections already there. For example, relationship between daughter, father, neighbors. These are all dashes of our own lives. It's like life sentences. Several sentences make a paragraph. But each sentence need to connect with each other for the story to be complete. Yeah, otherwise you have like noodles. You have several lines, but they need to be part of the same dish. Yeah. And then they need to complement each other for it to be tasty. Fine life, beautiful, tasty. You'd like to live life. Otherwise, you're seeking liberation because there's so many varieties. Yeah. Because that would be leading you to dukkha. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this, and then juggle, and then, yeah, health conditions. And okay, so 4 values. I hope this gives you pause for thought. And have you considered investing with Maelstrom Intelligence, MITI? And talking with me is where the process of becoming better begins, because I'm the founder, facilitator, proprietor. Yeah. So all roads lead to me. Yeah. So wherever you are, beginning a conversation with me is where it gets started. Yeah. So do let me know. I'm working on creating an online course. All of that, it takes time, but get started. A lot of things then get better from there. Thank you so much for your kind interest. Good day.